the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk. Very interesting how they do it. The press conference was just a little while ago, and horrible situation. There's no doubt about that. But it looks like at least this portion of it is now coming to the conclusion as far as who he was, why did he do it. We're still going to find that out over the next coming days, but it sounds like there was more than a little bit of political ideology in it. Governor Cox of Utah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced.
So that right there is the governor talking about how this whole thing went down, which was very interesting, between friend of a family, roommate, discord, and his dad's a 27-year veteran of, I guess, the Washington County Police in Utah. Where he was is about 225, 250 miles away from Orem, where this took place. So he managed to scurry, get in the car, drive all the way home, and then dad confronted him after finding out some information. I guess it was rather interesting, to say the least.
Was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits.
So, changed outfits. This whole thing, horrific, but it looks like they got him. And dad taking you in, that's got to be freaking kicking the nuts. We can't allow anybody to be silenced at all. Voices need to be heard. This shit has to stop. We got to come together, get our heads out of our asses. There's no doubt about that. The FBI, let's be real, they didn't equate themselves well here. Kash Patel last night didn't, there was a press conference. He didn't say anything. He did today about this.
And we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45.
Yeah, again, what did you do, Cash? I mean, it took how long? And it was eventually family members and pops who confronted him. What they're saying about him is full of hate. Full of hate. Family members stated that Kirk was full of hate, spreading hate. It comes after Kirk was warned he would be 100% killed in a chilling omen before his assassination. Robinson had mentioned to his friends how much he hated Charlie Kirk, how much, and this is the dinner prior to, so the night before, how much he could not stand him and his views on just about anything out there, and said that all he does is spread hate. So there were 7,000 leads and tips that poured in, but they eventually got him. This is another act of political violence, which we do not need at all anywhere in our world. That's not what we should be about. The reality is we're violent people. And, when you go and use a gun instead of your voice, you didn't do anything here. What you wrote on the bullets about trans and about other things, if you thought you were going to advance some sort of idea, you didn't. And instead, you hurt anything you thought you were, and you're going to actually advance. You ended up instead doing what? Making sure that everybody knows that the left is violent. The right can be violent. Anybody can be violent. We cannot have this. We got to get back to talking to one another. This is not a good place to be. I'm telling you. I mean, yesterday, during my local show, my wife comes up to me afterwards. She sends me a text. I can't watch your local show, and because on YouTube and everything. And I said, she goes, the hate. She goes, the amount of hate that you get, the things that they say. And I'm like, and those are from the right side, because I interviewed somebody yesterday they didn't agree with, and I didn't yell at her enough or something, which is such bullshit. There is a lot of pent up frustration and anger, and our voices need to be heard. But you know what else we got to do with it? Nobody's talking about. We got to listen, because we're not listening. Screaming over one another isn't paying attention, isn't listening. It isn't. And that's something else we need to start doing. We need to get some conflict resolutions in here to try to figure out how we can sit here, listen to each other, have a good debate, and realize that we're human beings. We're all looking for the same thing in life. We want to be happy, we want to be healthy, we want our kids and family, we want to be financially secure. This right here is not a way of doing it. And as Tom just said there, it's a turning point. It might have been. My buddy said it's a Rubicon, right? That we crossed that. This is a watershed moment. Absolutely. And Governor Cox said something that I don't agree with. He said, social media essentially is bad. And social media is nothing more than we allow it to be. It's a tool. How you use things, right, is the issue. And the hatred and anger that's on there that people see that fuel each other, those are algorithms. And we're treating it like a genie, and we're asking for whatever it is that we're getting delivered. Right? You go on there and you see things that are full of hate and anger. That's because you're searching for that. And then you're hitting it and you're liking it and you're watching it. Right now, if you go into my TikToks and stuff, I got this guy that makes me laugh. He's got this Hyrax and he talks to it. It's this little thing and he makes fun of it and calls his welfare weasel and his, his thrift store hamster. And the reason is because I try to avoid, there's enough shit and horror out there. But there's times I have to look at stuff, and I notice the minute I start doing that, what ends up happening? I get sent stuff that match it. We are feeding it what we want, and it's getting back to us. Right? Not what we need, but what we've asked for. So that is, like anything else, it's a tool. And unfortunately, this tool, it spreads hate. No, the hate's coming out of us. It's just the tool for it to take what we're saying and spread it. So something to think about there. You guys have a great rest of your day. I thought I'd jump on here and do that. Getting ready to go do more radio and stuff. Check out ChadBensonShow.com. Find out where I'm playing everywhere across the country. You guys have a good one, and we'll do it again Sunday night as a look forward to the week ahead. And it's time we start figuring out how we can start healing a little bit. Be kind to each other.